Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Woo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast. For today, we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from September the 19th, 1992. If you're listening to this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up gimmick to like the video, and then hit the subscribe button to sub to the channel. And lastly, leave a comment as well. Harper likes that, and so do those YouTube algorithms. It really doesn't cost a penny, and it helps the show grow, similar to when you leave a 5-star review on Apple Pod or Podcast Addict. We are actually waiting on Harper to join us. I'm sitting here with Doc. I'll throw it to him. How goes it?
I would say I'm blessed and doing great, but man, this is the real first week we've been doing this where I ain't no football, and the NBA's taking the week off, and if this goes on much longer, I'm going to have to talk to my family.
You saying it's Burger King thing time?
No, not at all. Not at all. But you know, I've been watching sports since I was a little boy, and sports is always there for me. So when it's not, it's a little weird, you know?
Yeah.
How old were you when you started really watching sports? Like, I'm gonna watch this Saints game or Astros game or college football or whatever.
I don't remember a time when I wasn't watching sports. I can remember. This is gonna make me sound old. Back, and they just stopped this a few years back, but the NFL, when home teams were blacked out unless it was a sellout, 72 hours in advance.
Yeah.
I could remember being 5 years old listening to a game on the radio. A home game because of the local blackout rule.
Yes.
So
I used to
43
do that for the
plus
Rangers.
years.
I used to do that for the Rangers games here because we didn't have cable, right? So the road games would be on TV, but the home games were on cable, and I was like, well, guess I won't be watching those. So I was like 6, 7 years old. I'd play with toys in my room and listen to the games. Dude, I had family members that get so frustrated with the Cowboys today, they don't even watch sometimes. But back in the 70s when that was, a thing with the blackouts, they would get in the car and drive to like the limit, like Waco or something, and get a hotel room because you weren't in a sports bar back then, wasn't no such thing, and watch the game. And now you couldn't get them to go across the street to do anything.
Times have changed, man.
Times have changed, man. The other thing is, and I heard this, a lot of people are complaining about the All-Star game that just happened in the NBA because somebody scored 200 points. And it was pretty bad. I mean, even Luttrell watched it and was like, this is kind of trash. And I was like, yeah, it kind of is, but it's kind of always been that way.
No, it hasn't always been that way.
I know, but you can't just shatter these kids. And anyway, even when it wasn't, people were still saying it was. Here's the thing. It was a bigger deal for kids like you and me to watch the All-Star game because we didn't have cable. Mm-hmm. How many times a year did you see some of these guys? Maybe zero.
I remember All-Star games being competitive.
Well, that too, but my point is you didn't see those guys. You couldn't go to YouTube and watch a highlight reel of them. You didn't have SportsCenter to watch highlights every night.
Yeah.
You saw a picture of who somebody was in Sports Illustrated, and you're like, man, hopefully one day I'll get to see them play basketball.
There's something to that. It's kind of like wrestling. You only had so much in wrestling, you know, for me, 1 hour a week until we started getting world class. And even then it was only 2 hours a week, 1 hour world class and 1 hour Mid-South. But you only got that 1 hour a week. So you were fiending and jonesing for that next week because, and then here's the other thing to tie it into your basketball analogy there. You didn't see everybody every week. So, you know, you kind of had to keep
shit, they didn't
Go ahead. There's Harper. Let me merge it.
Okay.
If it'll let me. It's not letting me merge it.
He's calling us in. Harper's like got something to say. We need to talk to him, by the way.
Yeah, let me add him. That was him. Let me see. I don't know why it wouldn't let me merge it. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Boy, we're dating ourselves. I mean, the whole blackout rule in the NFL was interesting for a long time, you know?
Well, and here's the thing, and maybe we'll have some listeners help us out here. They got some weird rules over in England about soccer. Where it's blacked out over there, whether they sell it out or not, because they don't want people to stay home and watch. So they just don't let people watch.
Wow. So you have to go on the radio. I bet Harper used to listen to, hey Harper, what's up, man? I bet you used to listen to Saints games, LSU games on the radio at one point in time, huh?
Oh yeah, my mom used to have the little GE radio in the kitchen. If it was a home game, because it had to sell out the fucking to be on television.
72 hours in advance used to be the rule back then.
Yeah.
Yep. Wednesday, was it Thursday afternoon?
Thing?
Which no, it's not a thing anymore. That's kind of what we were talking about. We were just talking about how Doc's original question to me was, you know, how long have you been watching sports? And I said, I can remember listening to Saints games in 1980 and 81 on the radio.
Oh yeah,
like
dude, fuck, dude. Past that.
I mean, I'm saying my earliest recollections. I'd have been about 5 years old, you know, in '80. So. Yeah. But I remember, like, my mom would turn the radio on because if it was a home game, now if it was a away game, we could watch it on TV. But
hell yeah, it was on then.
But
had to go to like Lafayette or something, right?
That's what Doc was saying. People used to do that in Dallas. If it wasn't a home game, they would drive just far enough, get a hotel room so that they could watch the Cowboy game.
That's crazy.
And here's the other thing. There were times when that really happened. And think about how good the Cowboys were in the 70s. And there were times it didn't sell out.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. I would have never thought that. I just would have assumed, oh yeah, they sold out. They sold out because that's the thing. The old Texas Stadium wasn't really big. I mean, it might not have held 60,000 people. But that also goes to show you the popularity of the NFL and how it's exploded. I mean, even bad teams draw pretty damn good usually.
Yeah.
So
shit, I remember with the LSU games back when they would just have one game on. Most of them they had that Tiger Vision, which was pay-per-view
in the 80s. I remember that.
Yeah.
80s and early 90s. They had
that was still like 15 years until about before Katrina. Because I remember being at the bar down the street and had to get the Tiger Vision and had to pay this and that just so we could sit at the bar and watch LSU versus fucking Ole Miss or whatever.
Yeah, Doc, I bet you didn't know that. Like they had something called Tiger Vision in like the mid to late 80s, early in 90. I don't remember it into the 2000s, but literally it was like a pay-per-view channel on Cox Cable in New Orleans. That was the only way you could see an LSU game if it wasn't televised on ESPN, which remember at the time all you had was one ESPN, so it's not like you could just tune in. I remember that.
For last night, I texted Mike that fucking UNO versus Nicholls State basketball was on the ESPN.
Well, but do y'all remember this? Like so let's say you get the TV, you get to Saturday, and you're like, all right, you're rubbing your hands together. I watched some wrestling this morning. I'm gonna watch some football this afternoon, and then I'm gonna go out and ride my bike and look and do all kinds of ratchet shit. But you flip it over to your channel, whether it's ABC or whatever you got, and you're like, I want to watch this game.
Right. Well, that's what they would do. They'll have like a game of the week, and it would be like a couple of games. Like, you're going to get one of these, and it's like, oh, okay, which one are we going to get?
Well, and then you started like, oh shit, and you started looking at all your UHF channels, looking for some kind of alternative. Like, you'd be ended up with like Raycom Sports or Jefferson Pilot, where you got
Jefferson Pilot.
Yeah, we had that.
Where you got like Rice versus, and you're like, well, shit, it's better than this channel. I guess I'll just figure this out.
Yeah.
So here's something else.
The Jefferson Pilot game of the week, actually, for if you were an SEC fan in the South, that was actually not too bad. It was usually a couple of at least one bad team, but it was cool because we were like, hell, we get to watch other SEC teams.
Right, right. So here's what I've learned, because, you know, as we all know, I spend a lot of time in the car with my part-time job, which is chauffeur for youth sports. Mike and I were talking about that today. That shit's a part-time job, being a parent whose kids have extracurricular activities. But anyway, I listen to some sporting events in the car because I'm frequently driving around.
Yeah, I still do that when I'm like driving around doing shoot job shit, like on the weekends, like during the Saints and LSU was still going on.
So, okay, let me ask you this: do you listen to Pelly's games at all?
Yeah, like if I'm working late and it's on, yeah, I put it on the radio until I get home.
Basketball's hard to listen to on the radio because there's so much shit going on.
Yes. And they're throwing out names. You're like, wait, is he our guy or is that the other guy?
Wait, we both have a Robinson. God damn it. Who are they talking about?
And they never say the score until they go to like a commercial, and they don't even do that for football. And now I finally realized it is, if you just tune in to see what in the fuck the score was, okay, Pelicans up by 15. Okay, boom. And then you just go something else. That's why they never tell you what the fucking score is, because you're just sitting there waiting to hear it.
Okay, so basketball's tough. Football's good because if you're missing a football game on TV, you'll deal with whatever they're giving you on the radio and like it because it's football. But the sport that really does it for me on radio is baseball.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because, and we're real lucky here, as today or yesterday's the day that the world champion Texas Rangers reported to training camp. We're real lucky because our radio guys here are among the best in the business, and they could tell a story with the game, and there's time enough for them to talk and tell you what's going on, and they do a real good job.
Yeah, Eric Nadel is a freaking master of calling baseball on the radio for the Rangers. That dude is fantastic.
He is just tremendous on every level. And I've listened to him a lot last year just because we were good, but also because, like I said, I'm in the car. And so anyway, that's how I'm making it through without football right now. I'm thinking about trying to give the Rocks Football League a shot. Mike and I maybe, trying out the local world champs here. I found a date that, you and I need to connect on.
The Arlington Renegades, the only team to win a championship in 30 years in DFW.
You take what you can get. And then I might even, if I can swing it, get into the CFL this year. But we'll wait on that.
But the one thing I can't stand is that I know, like, I'll be driving around on Sunday nights and I would listen to that Sunday night game of the week that's on prime time, that's on a radio, and these assholes are too, what do you call it, when they're screaming and
from
first down.
From Westwood 1.
Yes. And they're like, first down, screaming like they just won the lottery. Like, bruh, they're down 31-13. Calm the fuck down, bruh.
It's 2nd and 7. What?
Right.
Slow your roll.
Yeah. I hear that.
So here we are. We're trying to figure out what to do without football. I got a question though, another question for y'all.
Let's hear it.
Harper, did you lose your mind when football ended and decide to join a rec men's basketball league?
No. That sounds horrible.
Well, you have the footwear for it now.
Oh, yeah. Mike didn't like my shoes, bro.
I don't like the Converse. Those Converse look kind of bland, but those ponies, yeah, they those are badass.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's reset for the listeners. We got a text from Harper yesterday that said, I almost bought these and I got these. Now, what are these that we're talking about?
I've always wanted a pair of those Converse weapons, and they would never bring them back. And they finally brought them back for the All-Star game. And there they were. I was like, you know what? I don't buy fucking shit, right? I'm buying beer from the fucking salvage fucking the fucking grocery store. I'm like, I want to treat myself. Fuck it.
Says the man with a Pac-Man alarm clock, but please continue.
And I bought a pair of the Converse weapon high tops.
Okay, can I ask a few questions? Let me try to paint a picture for the listener. What color are these bad boys?
Yeah, I know the color sucks, but it's just white and gray, but the only other color was black and white, and I can't stand black tennis shoes because I think, okay, this guy must be a fucking cook at fucking Applebee's. That's what I think of when I see black tennis shoes. I thought you
were going to say that they make your calves look small.
No,
but whatever.
Yeah, they just like when I see black tennis shoes, I figure, okay, that guy works the fryer at fucking Chili's. So I can't stand black fucking tennis shoes.
Okay, so these are white and gray, and they are Converse weapons.
Converse weapons.
When did these first come out?
Oh God, the early '80s, huh? These are the ones that like Jordan, not Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas. This is a shoe that they wore before the Air Jordans just took over.
Yeah, I would have said mid to late '80s, but
yeah.
Okay.
And that was the only color besides black. And so
and why didn't you buy the?
Because dude, if they would have had the fucking Lakers one that was purple and gold, bro, I would have definitely bought those.
Okay, would you mind sharing with us how many dollars these particular shoes cost?
They were $120.
God.
I know.
You did fucking splurge.
You did.
I know, bro. And I saw those ponies, bro. It pisses me off. I saw those ponies at Journeys at Lakeside Mall, and they were $120. And a friend of mine's girlfriend used to be the manager there, and she used to always give me the brother-in-law. He had the 30% off discount. 30% off, dude. I'm thinking, damn, why'd you fucking quit this job, bro? Fuck. So I want to watch those like a hawk and see if they go on sale or something, because I definitely want those goddamn ponies.
Okay, so where are you gonna? These are some high top shoes. Yeah, they're basketball shoes.
Right.
Do you wear those just around the house to work?
No, like that. I don't know. I mean, those would be like my good tennis shoes.
Everybody's got to have a pair of good tennis shoes.
Yeah, instead of my old beat up fucking Asics. That, bro, I can't stand they don't make leather tennis shoes anymore. unless you look like your fucking dad cutting the grass.
Dude, he's on to something because I use my old tennis shoes, right, to cut the grass, right? Exactly. But all of the tennis shoes they make nowadays, none of them are leather, and I hate it because when the grass is a little wet,
bullshit that don't last half an hour because my fucking pinky toe eventually busts fucking through. Every pair of shoes I have like that, my pinky toe eventually makes a fucking hole, bro. Every fucking pair.
Just like your underwear with your balls, huh?
Yeah.
You should try having a growing 11-year-old and soccer cleats that cost $120.
God damn, bro.
We got a new pair the other day, and we set them next to the old pair, and they were literally a fourth of an inch taller because the spikes weren't worn down.
That's damn.
And that's about 3 months, every 3 months.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Because they aren't made worth of shit.
Every 3 months you gotta buy your kid a new pair of cleats?
No. You gotta buy them a new pair of cleats. They gotta do turf shoes as well.
Right.
We play indoor games.
Oh my God, bro. That's expensive.
And I got 2 kids.
And they both do it?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Dude, that's expensive.
Right.
Harper, when I played Little League Baseball, I swear on my life, I think I had 2 gloves my entire time, they were both hand-me-downs. Cleats, they were my football cleats that I had from football. So I would bust out. They wouldn't be replaced forever. Like they would be 2 sizes too small, but they would hold up back then. They'd be 2 sizes too small. That's why it kills me. When my kid was playing baseball, Little League, dude, I can't believe, and we weren't even spending as much as Doc, but I can't believe how often I needed to get him new shoes, new glove, new this, new that. Nothing held up. Nothing. And it wasn't that he was brutal on it. It's just that nothing held up.
That's just crazy.
So what happens if you go down to the bar this weekend and somebody scuffs your new Converse?
Oh, they're gonna get punched in the face, bro. That's why it's called. That's why it's called a weapon.
Converse weapons.
That's right. They got a blade in there.
Those things look heavy too.
I know.
They look big.
Every review was like, man, I remember these shoes being fucking heavy.
Okay. Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But fuck, dude, bruh, I might go get the ponies too, bruh. It'd be like a fucking dumb white bitch buying purses. Watch.
Well, here's the deal.
You deserve it.
You do. You're a king. You're a king.
That's right. I'm the queen, and a queen deserves good shoes. And fuck this elf makeup shit, okay? I'm not some fucking ratchet bitch.
All right.
Bruh, I might go do that, bruh. Because the more I think about it, I'm like, damn, bruh.
So hold on. You got white Converse. So if you get ponies, are you going to get white too, or are you going to get something else?
No, the ponies look, bruh. Well, I'm going to get the white ones, and I saw white and green.
What color green?
I don't fucking know.
Probably
dark
Celtic green.
Yeah. And those, and they had blue ones that look really fucking great, like the Dodger blue.
Oh, that would look better than the green.
Yes, and I'm like, man, bruh, I regret it now.
So what you need to do is get those shoes too. Why not?
Yeah, fuck it, man.
Fuck it, and then, the next time you're with Lady Doc, just strip down to nothing but your ponies and
Bruh,
get to work.
I might buy them. Just say, oh yeah, they're on sale.
Why you? And she goes, why you still got those on? Just say traction.
Yeah. But you know what they call them, ponies?
Oh God, let's hear it.
It stands for People of New York. Apparently, it started in New York.
Well, I feel like we learned something here today.
Of course we did. Harper always brings the knowledge. He's like, walking Google.
I had a pair of ponies about 5 or 6 years ago I bought. And they were like the old school high tops. And I used to wear them and people would be like, bro, those shoes look badass. And they were just, I paid like, $20, $30 for them off the clearance rack somewhere at like Ross or something.
Yeah, but if they cost $20 or $30 then, they cost $350 now because everything costs more money.
Yeah.
So where'd you get these? You said that Journeys was the ponies. Where'd you get these Converse at?
From actual Converse from their website.
Okay.
Because I saw them, Foot Locker had them. And I said, fuck it, bro. I don't feel like waiting in the goddamn mail for them. So my ass actually went to Lakeside fucking Mall.
Wow.
Can you see Harper marching through the mall on a mission?
Yeah.
I'm going to get these ones. Okay.
And I went in there and they're like, what? Converse? They're like, the only Converse we sell are the ones for women. I said, what the fuck?
Do I look like a broad to you?
Yeah, bro. Come on. So that's when I just left and said, fuck it. I'm going on Converse.com and just getting them. Because they're the same price.
Why go to the mall ever then?
Well, because I'm wearing them now.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean there are times when you kind of have to go to the store. I mean
Yeah.
I'm with you, Doc. If I can wait for them, I'm gonna get them online if I can get them cheaper. But that's me.
Okay.
I'm a frugal bastard.
Well, Mike and I thought maybe you had joined a pickup basketball league. And
ought to do that. Wear like the old school, like the 80s, like the John Stockton shorts.
and some rec specs and some.
Yeah. With the fucking headband and show up to like some like fucking YMCA in like New Orleans East. And like pull my socks all the way up.
I got just walk in. I got next.
Yeah.
Who's running? I got next.
Oh my God,
that'd be nice.
That's great.
Wear your hard body Harper jacket with the sleeves cut
Yeah,
off.
that'd be
great. All right, Doc. Let me take care of some business and we'll get into the review portion. How's that sound?
That sounds tremendous.
All right. Shout out to Disrespectfully Classy, Marquis Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, good old Justin for your generous support on Patreon each and every month and basically being the sponsors of this show. And then real quick, couple of new patrons, MZK and Ben P. Thanks for becoming BTT Hall of Fame patrons. It's greatly appreciated. And if you want to be like those guys, all you got to do is go to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. When you go there and sign up, you'll get access to all of the clashes we've done, which we did Clash 20 a couple of weeks ago. That's available on Patreon. Plus, 1 through 19 are there, along with all of the WCW pay-per-views that we've done as well. Tons of stuff is available only on Patreon, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Over 400 plus Patreon exclusive shows, including the video versions that Doc and Harper and I do here with the NWA show. So there is that. All right, let me get the video version going. Unless you got something else, Doc, before we jump into this.
I think I'm ready to talk about some classic wrestling.
All right.
That's why we're here, right? I mean, we should. When are we going to talk about this stuff?
Let me share my screen. Wait.
Covering... I do have one thing.
Okay.
Did you tell me this week? It's been a long week already. It's only Tuesday. Did you tell me that you got a DM from Dman?
Dman DMs me a lot. Well, which one are you talking about?
I forget, but I felt like it was something we wanted to talk about on the show.
Oh God, that was funny because this is very much wrestling related. Hold on. Let me look because it was beyond. Okay, that's what it was.
I was ready
out
to
of the
get
blue.
Into the review. Yeah, I was ready, but that popped in my head.
All right, so Harper, you don't know this because he sent this to me and not both of us. He sends me. First off, before I say this, I don't listen to the Kevin Sullivan podcast. Doc does. And Doc,
really?
I'm going to just hold, before you jump in, both of you, let me explain. Doc recently messaged me about the way Sullivan sounds on his podcast. Now, I'm going to read D-Man's DM. What type of drugs do you think Sullivan does before his podcast comma, 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 asking for a friend. So I copied and pasted and sent it to Doc and said, D-Man just sent me this. And Doc came unglued and he was like, told ya.
And here's
That's
the thing.
nice.
And here's the problem with that. It's not every episode. And there are some times when Sullivan throws down some really good stuff, and it's different than other podcasts, and it's really insightful because he's a super smart guy, and I enjoy it. But, I mean, I got to be able to know what's going on.
So I did respond and said, I don't listen to it, but Doc does, and he says the same thing. D-Man comes back and says, it's beyond words, bro. This past episode, it sounds like he's 3 crack balls deep. John Paz, the moderator, is a saint, bro.
That's nice.
He's
Well,
got
we never
these.
knew he had a podcast.
Yeah, he's had one for quite some time, and I've listened to a few episodes here and there, but not a lot. But I know Doc does, and Doc will tell me if something is good on it that you know.
Yeah, like,
listen
hey, you
to,
should
but
clip over here. He talks about something we just talked about, or something like that, and or we're about to talk about. And sometimes I miss them, and sometimes I don't. But it's like, dude, I'm worried.
Yeah, let's be clear. We're not saying this because we're trying to make fun of Sullivan. I get a little worried when I hear wrestlers slurring words.
Oh my God! Really?
Well,
Dude,
I mean, because you just like, again, not trying to accuse Sullivan of doing anything, but it, like, you know, you hear all about wrestler deaths with somas, and I let me say this. I have been around several wrestlers who are pilled up. If it's what Doc and D-Man described to me, I'm uncomfortable with that, because that generally doesn't lead to somewhere. Now, in Kevin Sullivan's defense, maybe he's on medication for something that's, you know, for a condition. I don't know that, so I need to be clear. I was laughing at D-Man's text or DM, and not necessarily Kevin Sullivan.
Did he call him the moderator?
Yeah, he called John Paz the moderator, which Paz is a cool dude. I think
he is. He's a friend of the show. Yeah, I've talked to him before, and he's the one who hooked us up with Dutch years ago. So when Dutch was on the show, but anyway, I hope Sullivan is all right. This is the point I'm trying to make. He's one of our favorite guys, man.
Exactly, but
can't
D-Man's hilarious.
Pills and shit, though.
That's what I'm saying, Harper. Like,
he can't be.
I've been around enough wrestlers.
That's what I'm saying, is that it might be like something medicinal or something. I hope.
Okay, I hope so, because I've been around pilled up wrestlers, and the slurring and, you know, drooling on a pillow in the back seat because they're just can't form a word. I mean, it's sad, but it was the reality at one point in time. So I hope that's not what it is. I hope he's, you know, on something.
Yeah, I'm not
legal.
making fun of Sullivan. I'm making fun of D-Man.
Bro, D-Man listens to a lot of podcasts, because he always DMs me about bro, do you listen to Dutch? I'm like, I try to listen to as many as I can when I have time. He's like, Dutch is a treasure, and he's not lying. I mean, Dutch
is a treasure.
Dutch
that
is great.
Podcast is really, really good.
Yeah, I'm surprised he did that little taste test for Ric Flair's Woo. I'm like, man, don't do it, man.
He put it over.
Since he was in the hospital. Especially since he was in the hospital last year.
That's what I was thinking. Because I think it was around Christmas time, we were going to my brother's house, and I played the Cornette clip for that when they do the review or whatever, when they're reading off the ingredients.
The ingredients?
Yes. And Tiffany looks over at me and says, "You are so not drinking any of that. I don't care who's on the fucking can." I was like, "I'm not, because this sounds scary. Like it's gonna turn me into a fucking X-Men."
Right. You're gonna be one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when you drink that.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we've talked about podcasts. We've talked about old sports. Harper just sent us 2 badass pictures.
Dude, that's
ponies.
the ones I saw, man. Bro, I might go do it, bro.
I think you should.
Okay,
so.
do it, and then
Same.
report back to us next week.
That's a good plan.
I'm just gonna keep them in here and just keep them on a fucking DL, so she don't
There you
fucking
go.
know.
All right.
Y'all, what are you married or something?
Yeah, but still, dude, because she's going, how much you paid for those? You just paid $120 for those? How much? They're on clearance at fucking Ross or whatever. I'm just gonna, because they did. I am such a sucker for those '80s tennis shoes, the badass basketball shoes. You know what I think it might be is that I always wanted those as a kid, and my mom would just get me some cheap shit from fucking Marshalls. It was like, okay, it fits.
Or Shoutout or something.
Yeah, for real, Shoutout.
Mom, these ain't Nikes, they're nukes.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting for the '80s Reebok high tops to come out. They got the low tops. I don't want the low tops. I want the fucking high tops with the little British flag on by the fucking logo. That's what I want, and they won't bring them back. They got ones that kind of look like it, but it's not, dude. And I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and it pisses me off.
This is tremendous.
I'm sorry.
Because
I'm sorry.
I always wanted those fucking Reeboks when I was a kid.
Man, let's get a sponsorship and start selling
What y'all doing, man? We gonna talk about some old school wrestling here or what, bro?
Me off, dude, because I used to watch fucking Double Dare, right? And I used to be so jealous because Reebok sponsored them. And each kid got a pair of fucking Reeboks. If you watch those old videos, everyone is wearing the old school fucking Reeboks, and they would get a free pair just for fucking showing up there. I used to get so fucking jealous. I was like, you lucky motherfuckers, bro. You got a free pair of fucking Reeboks for fucking losing.
This intro has got to go up early for patrons. So if you're a patron listening to this right now, look, this is for you because this was some gold for the first almost 40 minutes of this week's show, talking about tennis shoes, and I love it. It's great.
Dude, and if you look at it, like fucking Jordan started the whole, like everyone has their own shoe, bruh. Everyone had a shoe, bruh. I saw because
still do.
Yeah, and I was looking up. James Worthy had a New Balance basketball shoe, and that looked badass, just like the fucking pony one. And who was the guy that played for the Lakers? He was from Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
he had a pony shoe, and I think that's the pony shoe. I think that's it.
That motherfucker would smoke cigarettes at halftime. Marlboro Reds.
Fucking Dominic Wilkins had a shoe.
Dominic Wilkins needed all the shoes. He was badass.
And I think Scottie Pippen had Avias. And I saw those on there too. Those look badass too. I'm like, no, just stop. I'm going to start.
You think D-Man's getting mad right now and thinks that maybe we should start a different podcast if we want to fucking talk about shoes?
Why don't you talk about Bruno? Why don't you talk about with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes farted and The Rock smelled it and let's talk about what every other dickhead talks about.
Bro, they booked themselves into a corner with the shit with Cody, bro. That was overreaction, bro. They knew what they was doing. They knew they had to fix it, bro. Bro, I'm telling you. I mean, you can't tell me that. Okay, but, they fucked up, bro. They knew what they were doing.
Why pencils have erasers?
I need to get.
How long you think until fucking Roman Reigns goes to Hollywood, bro? I mean, can't you picture redoing Lethal Weapon? And it's gonna be The Rock and fucking Roman Reigns. Watch.
Okay, let's get into the show. All right, that was great. If you're a patron, you just heard that a couple of weeks early. Let's get into it. September 19th, 1992, WCW Saturday Night on TBS. This week's episode was taped September 8th, 92 at Center Stage, and this is the second half of the taping from that day. Last week, we got the first half. So in the introduction, we see several replays of what's been going on with the Steiners and Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and JR welcomes us in. We are told Halloween Havoc is coming up, which we already know about, and that Scotty Flamingo was recently fined $2,500 for leaving the announcer table. Welcome to Mid-South in 1983, boys and girls, because that is 100% a Watts thing. Whenever a wrestler was at the announcer table, he could stay at the announcer table, but the minute he got involved in any type of action, ran into the ring, involved himself, Watts would fine him. So he is still fining people here in 1983 and 1992 when they leave the announcer table. Doc, let me throw to you. Did you have anything from the opening of anything that went on there with JR and what he said?
No, my only thought though is that this is 41 minutes, and we've been talking about the just enormous amount of talent in this promotion. So my whole thing is that if you can't, with this much talent in 41 minutes, if we can't have a good show, something's wrong.
Are you saying this is not a good show as we jump into it, or what?
No, I'm just setting it up. We'll see where we go. Gotcha.
Well, Jake Roberts is going to cut a very quick promo, and I will tell you this as we're getting started. Lots of the promos in this week's show are like drive-by promos, just real quick, and it's because I'm assuming we don't have much time. So let's hear what Jake's got to say as JR throws it to him before we go to the first match.
October 25th, Halloween Havoc. You know, in all my years, I've never known that when a judge and jury passes sentence on a man, does the man get to choose the way he wants to be executed? They don't ask him. They give it to him. But you, Sting, you have the honor of spinning the wheel and making the deal. But remember this, I'm a master of all of them.
I wanted to play it because I thought it was great. It was real quick.
That was great.
But he's like, I'm not worried about spinning the wheel because I'm a master of all of them. It's phenomenal. That is excellent. Thoughts, Doc or Harper?
That was great.
It was great.
Perfect. I mean, Jay can't have a good promo, huh?
Bad
one.
Yeah, you're right. He can't have.
My only thing is I wanted to hear him keep talking about shit.
Yes, they fucking cut him off.
All right, Harper, we need your thoughts as we go to the Barbarian versus Rob Bassett.
Let's get to talk about that guy.
That guy's from St. Bernard.
Doesn't he?
1993? Yeah.
What's his real name what's his shoot name in real life? First name?
Stephen Bourgeois from Chalmette.
Oh, no. We got more than we asked for. What does a guy like that? What does a guy like that do for work?
He's a shrimper.
Okay. What's he do on the weekends?
Drinks beer. Fights with his old lady.
Shit, that sounds like all of us, right?
Yeah. And he starts fights with his fucking ex girlfriend's boyfriend. You know she still loves me, right?
Uh-oh.
You know she still loves me, right?
You know what kind of tennis shoes he wears, Doc?
Oh, no, he probably wears the old school fucking Reeboks, bro.
No, bro, he wears Chalmette Nikes, white shrimp boots.
I mean, we always call those Chalmette Reeboks.
We call them Chalmette Nikes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've always heard Chalmette Reeboks or St. Bernard Reeboks. He probably wears the Cons. Remember the Cons?
Oh, man. Yeah. I did have a pair of those.
You see?
Yeah, I did have a pair of those. They were cheap, though, when I got them. They were like, they had those at Showtown, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have been $16 back then. They weren't a lot of money. All right. So Barbarian's battling this Rob Bassin guy who really looks like somebody from St. Bernard Parish in Louisiana. And Cactus Jack is on commentary with JR. And Jim Ross teases us about an announcement later in the show about possibly Butch Reed getting a title shot against Simmons. The thing about that comment was, I mentioned this during the Clash 20 review. Although this episode aired on September 19th and was taped September 8th, Butch Reed was fired for no show in a worldwide taping on September 15th. So this was taped before his firing. And for the record, Butch Reed, I think he only had 4 matches, including the one at the Clash, before his firing. So there's that.
I never get, like, why would you do that, bro?
Do what?
Like, just like quit, just like not show up when you realize, okay, this is probably it. This is my last run because I'm, making good money doing this shit.
I think there was a story behind why he didn't show up, but I don't remember it specifically. But it's just, I kind of feel like it's also Bill Watts being a tyrant. I think it's crazy.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I don't want to misspeak on it, but there was a story about him missing that show, and I think that's what this is about. But yeah, Barbarian wins quickly though.
I figure like Bill Watts would give him a pass because he knows it from back in the day.
No,
he's a tyrant. I don't think he cares.
I don't think he does either. I think he would have been like, all right, but you know the rules.
Yeah, I'm with Doc on that. All right, Doc, did you have any thoughts on Barbarian winning that match?
I like the fact that they gave him a bigger guy to kick around because he needs that.
Yep.
You know what? I bet the guy probably works offshore too.
Probably does, Harper.
Yeah. he could be from Galveston.
Did you see that? Did you hear that Cactus said in the match that Butch was out getting more information on Ron's shaky background?
Which is comical because, like, I don't know what more information they could present. I mean, we saw Doom jump the Steiner brothers in a parking lot. Like, we know they at that point in time they weren't like, upstanding citizens in the community. They were jumping.
Well, and it's
people.
it's like this. It's like, okay, so we brought you over to our team because you used to play for their team. So what's their playbook look like? But it's not like that's where it ends. Like, what is he, a private eye out looking for clues and shit?
Yeah.
He's like fucking Magnum PI.
Yeah,
Magnum TA.
Magnum TA.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there won't be much Butch Reed talk after this, so I guess there's that. Well, speaking of Magnum is in front of us right now, and he's got something to say. I just want to remind you all. I'll play what Magnum says, and then we can talk about it on the other side. Here it is.
Staying with us, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here with Magnum TA and Magnum. Last week on the program, we saw a young man that certainly reminded me of you a few years ago. He's got the blonde hair. He's a pretty good-looking kid, and he used the belly-to-belly suplex. Very, very nifty.
Well, Jim, last week there was a lot of people around the world that were surprised. I myself was not surprised. I must say I was rather pleased because I've always believed the power of the will can overcome all kinds of obstacles. And I watched many years ago when I was still active as a young Shane Douglas started out in professional wrestling. And I saw the hungry look in his eye then. And I've watched him work over the years to build himself up, to gain the experience and to hone his skills. And now with the strong will, with the desire and the right move, the belly-to-belly suplex, there is no title safe here in WCW.
Let's go back up to rhubarb and take another look at Shane Douglas in action.
I like this because Magnum is obviously the person who did the belly to belly, and you get him in here and he basically puts Shane over. I thought it was good. Doc, what'd you think?
My first thought during this, other than what you just said, which I thought was good, was imagine if Magnum's not hurt, the kind of battles that he and Rick Rude could be having right now.
Yeah.
Cutting promos on each other, intense promos, the matches, just those two.
Not just Rude. I mean, Austin.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, he's just another guy in the mix who can have interesting matchups and
he's probably been a couple of time world champion at this point too.
Yeah, so he can help. He at least one time for sure. He can help elevate these guys. But I've heard Magnum say on various shoot interviews, he claims he was going to have a run with the title and step away. Like after, like he was like, I didn't want to do it forever. So it does make you wonder, like at what point he still around in 92. And we talked about this during the Dark Side of the Ring episode because I think you and I did, Doc, because remember he talked about like doing NASCAR. He was like, yeah, I had always wanted to do NASCAR. And it's just one of those things where it's like maybe he gives that a try, almost like Jordan gave baseball a try. And then he's like, you know what? This is really hard. It's not as easy as it looks. I'm going to go back to wrestling. Like I started thinking about it in that perspective where I'm not saying he would have failed because it's just something that's hard to do. I mean, there's a reason there's only so many guys on that circuit, right?
Yeah.
But to the point you made, I think Magnum, dude, would he have even been a babyface at this point? That's the other side of it. Like he might have been prime Dangerous Alliance material at one point. Because I could have seen him being a hell of a heel. Hell of a heel.
Yeah, because he had the fire.
Yeah.
Hey, here's something else I wanted to ask you while we're here. Is Scott Hall over in WWE now?
Yeah.
Was this 92? Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
What did Harper?
What?
I was going to ask you what you thought about the promo.
No, I mean it was great. I mean it was perfect on top of everything. And then you can see the smile on Jim Ross at the end. He was like, "Man, that was good shit."
Yeah. Good shit.
But at the beginning of this match, didn't Shane Douglas kind of look like Shawn Michaels with the getup that he came to the ring in?
You better watch out talking like that. You're going to get on the bad side.
No, like what Shawn Michaels of I don't know. I think he was wearing that shit by 92, was he? No.
Hold on. Let me go back. Let me see what you're talking about. You talking about his when he's walking to the ring?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I think I'm
like
cute.
The pants.
I know what's it.
Was he wearing that in 92 though?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. It does look kind of Shawn Michaels-ish, doesn't it?
A little. I mean, yeah, a little.
You think he's still?
I want to get a jacket like Joe Kazana.
Yeah.
With my name on it.
It looks like Mike. It looks like the guy that's driving the big 40 Conno line during a Mardi Gras behind the dance teams. The fucking dance connection.
Dude, I was telling Clifton Harris this that is a patron and listens to us. He's from New Orleans, so he found out my daughter made the dance team here, and he said something about parades. I was like, dude, I'm so glad I don't live there and she's not in parades, because that means I would have had to volunteer for that mess. Because there's no way I'm gonna let my kid walk through, even if a parade has got security everywhere. There's no way I'm gonna let my kid walk a parade route by herself. I would have had to do it, and I probably would have been in that van, but I could also see myself walking as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He does look like the guy in the Ford Econo line. Sitting in the back with the speakers blaring and the dance team is walking. Doc has no clue what we're talking about, but it's hilarious. He does look like that dude. Okay. Doc, did you have any thoughts on the match between Douglas and Kazana?
Shane's getting a pretty good push by having Magnum come out there. Here's a question. As he transitions to the franchise character in a few years, what would that have looked like in Smoky Mountain?
That would have been great.
Yeah, I think it works.
I do too, because he's out there telling all the rock and rolls and the Smothers that, they're a relic of a bygone era in front of all those people that want to be in that bygone era.
It's a different reaction than he got in Philly, obviously, for obvious reasons.
This fucking Yankee asshole comes down here.
Yeah.
But he got a lot of heat up there.
Right, he got a lot of heat up there, but he gets over in a similar fashion. Not the same way, but it definitely works in Smokey.
Okay.
No doubt. Now you said something. Magnum's on commentary. Magnum is putting him over. I mean, he's giving him every bit of push on commentary as he can give him, putting him over as a big time potential big star. So I thought it was good. I like this. They're gonna put Shane over. Obviously, we just saw it a second ago, belly to belly. Any other thoughts though, Doc?
No.
It looks like he put on size.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely since his. I mean, I remember him seeing him when he first comes in, but even before
you got to
then.
be light. You got to be light to get on that skateboard.
That's right.
remember that vignette with him and Johnny Ace with "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and they're showing him. How bad was that?
Oh, he probably wishes he was back there right now.
No, don't even let's.
He probably like, why did I have to turn into a scumbag psychopath?
All right, well,
Life
let's
was
go.
so much easier when I was just waving a New Zealand flag
and carrying a skateboard. I like that. I like that story Cornette tells when they're in Philly and he's in the back and he's got his head down and it's like, I guess the fans were chanting Johnny sucks Shane's dick or something, and Cornette tells a story and Johnny Ace is demoralized in the back. He said I suck Shane's dick. All right. We need to go to a promo, and this is Shane Douglas after his match, after he won with the belly to belly. Here it is.
TA, I know you're going to want to listen to the tape, but he said some very nice things about you, young man.
Brother, you know, it's great to see you standing out here, Magnum. That belly-to-belly suplex that you taught me took you right to the U.S. heavyweight title. And like Magnum said earlier, there is no title safe with that belly-to-belly around. I saw him use it with great success, and I'm going to use it with great success. Now, there's some people here in the greatest wrestling organization, WCW, that think they can push me around. I think the Super Invader found out last week, I'm not here to be pushed around or to be a stepping stone for anybody. The belly-to-belly is going to make sure of that.
All right, Magnum, thanks very much. Great seeing you again.
Pleasure to be here. This kid's going to the top.
All right, fans, we'll be back with more on WCW Saturday Night. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
I mean, that's how you do it. Doc, thoughts?
That was great, man.
Yeah, because it's not easy to do a white meat babyface promo without sounding like a complete schmuck.
The best part about that is how short it was.
Right.
You don't need to go on and on for what they were trying to do right there.
No.
I mean,
and the more longer
you know why?
on and on, there's a more chance of you dropping a turd during a promo.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right, because he doesn't have a feud yet, so he doesn't have anything to fire up about, so keep it short.
Yeah.
Yeah, straightforward to the point. Magnum puts him over. And here's the thing. Douglas puts over Magnum at the same time. He's like, that belly-to-belly took Magnum to the U.S. title. I mean, like, he's just speaking facts that happened before his time. So it's I don't know how you could do it any better. Good stuff. All right, we'll continue. We go to the Halloween Havoc Control Center, and JR announces that Ron Simmons will face the Barbarian for the world title. Cactus then mentions Ron is going down, so he cuts a promo for Barbarian, basically. And then we hear from Rude, who is going after Masahiro Chono's NWA World title at Halloween Havoc. And Rude says, we're going to show you all...
Can we listen to Rude?
Yeah. Is it coming up right here? I don't have the exact timestamp, but I think it's after this.
I think it's the second, yeah.
Here, let me just hit play from this point.
NWA champion Masahiro Chono. Let's hear these comments from Ravishing Rick Rude as he analyzes his last meeting with the NWA champion.
Talking about the second time around for the NWA title. Chono, you better believe Deuce and I have a few surprises for you, and you better know you're going to suffer a few sleepless nights between now and October 25th. You see, Halloween time, Halloween Havoc, Chono, is when all the ghouls and all the goblins come out in the United States. Halloween Havoc, Chono, is where Deucey and I are going to show you all the tricks. And then Deucey and I, we're going to take home the big treat. Bye-bye.
We will have to...
Doc, thoughts?
No matter what he does, it's always awesome.
Yeah. And I've always wondered as a kid, what is a goblin? If you had to fucking describe a goblin to someone.
I don't know, but a few months ago, LA Knight called the two guys on SmackDown crotch goblins, and I came unglued.
Yeah, how would you describe a goblin?
Yeah, right. I mean, what does it look like?
It's like the thing, you know what it is, but you don't know how to describe it.
Right. Was it
It's
like some little troll, little monster?
Well, I'm looking at Wikipedia here. It's a small, grotesque, monstrous creature that appears in the folklore of multiple European cultures.
Speaking of that,
it's almost like a troll. A goblin is a small,
that's what I'm
grotesque.
saying.
It's like the same thing as a troll. But okay, go ahead.
Similar creatures include brownies, dwarves, gnomes, imps, leprechauns, and kobolds.
Imps. Jesus Christ.
Like
An
a
imp.
Chevrolet. Like a fucking compact Chevrolet. Alright.
Oh, man.
Tiffany has discovered Tales from the Dark Side. You remember that show? You were a kid?
Tales from the Crypt?
No, Tales from the Dark Side.
No.
I remember it, Harper. I never really watched it, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's some good shit. It comes on Comet.
Harper's a master of these secondary channels on regular TV.
Like, fucking, that's our thing. We sit there and watch fucking Tales from the Dark Side.
Jesus Christ. I'm glad y'all can Tales from the Dark Side and chill. That's awesome. Oh, man.
When you do as much youth sports as I do,
yeah.
You turn on the TV and immediately start snoring.
Yeah. That's pretty much it, man.
I mean, it is 7:33 in the evening, and I have not watched 1 second of television today. Not one.
Well, let's keep going. Real quick, we close out the Halloween Havoc Control Center segment with some extremely quick Jake Roberts and Sting promos about spin the wheel, make the deal. And then JR gives us the hard sell on making sure we call our cable company and order Halloween Havoc, which is about a month away at this point. From here, we go to DDP versus Van Hammer. And Doc, if you were watching in 1992 and I told you one of these guys was going to be the world champion at some point, you probably would have told me to shut my mouth and get off of the hallucinogens.
Put down the pipe, Mike.
Put down the pipe is what you would have said.
Crack
but
is rack. So how's it
here
go? Rack is rack. So put the pipe up or something like that. You remember that? Feel the vibration. Come on. Feel it.
Oh.
You ever seen the TRL with Carson Daly where Marky Mark was out there with Eminem?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But he starts making all kinds of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch jokes right to Marky Mark's face. He's like, Carson, I don't know. I mean, I'm just out here on a good vibration. And then look straight at Marky Mark.
What did Marky Mark do?
Nothing.
Looked like he was about ready to jump him.
He wasn't ready for that. That's great.
No, it's awesome. He got ambushed.
All right. Doc, what do you have from DDP versus Van Hammer besides Wrong Guy Won?
Yeah, well, okay, so a couple of things. For all the things that we hear about Bill Watts not liking, not doing, not whatever, they kind of ring hollow because he let this guy stay in Van Hammer.
I guess he sees size, he sees the hair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, bro, did he just come to the ring wearing a Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation hat on?
Oh, man.
I swear to God, I think it was.
Rhythm Nation.
Look, let's get the metal thing.
It looks like that. Maybe so.
Nothing says heavy metal like Janet Jackson. Control.
Spot, huh?
Bro, Janet Jackson was
damn,
she was great.
She was all the way live.
I had all those tapes in the 80s and early 90s, just so you know.
Yeah.
I feel okay, so to bring this back to the wrestling, everybody talks about DDP and like when he gets it and how it clicks for him. I feel like in hindsight, he's not far off here. the big thing is, and maybe I'll let you two guys tell me because it's my assumption. He just needs to slow down just a bit.
Yeah, I think Doc's right, Harper. You tell me.
Nothing's registered.
I think he needs. I think he needs to slow down, and to me, he like almost oversells sometimes.
Yes.
Like it's like a over. It's like bad acting where you kind of overdo it because you're trying to act.
I've always thought fucking Luger did that. Oversold.
Kinda. I know what you mean. He would, like, he'd take a shot and he would like flail his arms and it would. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, he kind of would do that. We also need to remember that Luger is still very young in his career when he's, getting all those allocades, as he likes to say.
That's true.
In the late 90s. I mean, he wasn't like a 10-year vet or anything at that point. He was still kind of learning. And that's a testament to him because of how great he was during that time. But yeah, I do. It was. I do agree with you, Doc, that I think sometimes I think that about DDP. He's not far off, but yeah, he kind of like overdoes it in his rushing through things. Then again, they only got X amount of minutes in this TV because there's only 41 minutes this week. So, it's kind of.
And I don't blame him for wanting to try to. I don't blame DDP for wanting to try to impress people. He feels like the clock's running out on him already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he's not young.
Right.
Well, the problem is with this match, Page goes for an elbow drop, but Hammer moves, and then Hammer rolls up Page and wins. Page, whoa, did you go to high school with him? DDP wins. I'm sorry. Hammer pins DDP is what I meant to say. And boy, I mean, I don't know. Like literally my note says wrong guy won. Doc?
Wrong guy won.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Why are we still doing this?
Well, because we like chatting, I guess. Any other thoughts, though, as we watch the finish?
No, I meant as the company doing this, not us. I know why we're doing it.
You mean this being Hammer?
Right.
Correct.
I don't know, bro. Like, he just doesn't. It's nothing there. I don't understand it. I don't. But we'll go to the next promo. It is Cactus Jack and Barbarian. Obviously, Cactus is going to do the talking.
I have two things for you here. Hold on.
Yes.
One is, again, I said this last week, I think. Why is there just a red, like, rectangle on a white background?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Yeah, and then also, when they move around, and I think Barb moves over to the other side of JR, is there a doorknob there on the left?
See,
which makes it look even more mud show.
I thought it was like a pad on a wall, like you might see like at a gym, but it's not.
Which raises even more questions.
Wait till we start talking about the locker, the actual lockers, because we've talked about it a little, but they're going to start going to in the backstage area. Wait till we start talking about the lockers that we don't think are lockers. And we're going to have a real good discussion about that. I actually was DMing at the Harper several weeks ago because I took a screenshot of one, and I'm going to save it, but the backgrounds are going to be something we become morbidly fascinated with. I can't answer your question. I think you need to, call Bill Watts on the phone because I don't think he'll take my call, Doc, because I've been sticking the screws to him on that AI and Bill Watts, AI Jim Ross episodes. Bill Watts ain't going to talk to me. I've said too many bad things about him on those shows. So why don't you give him a call and report back to me why he's doing this with the background?
Okay. So look to the left when they move around and tell me what you see. All right. Let's hit it.
Here's the promo.
Gentlemen, as we heard earlier in our first Halloween Havoc Control Center, it will be Ron Simmons defending the WCW Heavyweight Championship of the World against the Barbarian. That is, of course, if Simmons can turn back the challenge in upcoming days with Ravishing Rick Rude.
We asked, and lo and behold, we received a title shot for this well-deserving man. We said before it didn't matter, Barbarian or Butch Reed, and it doesn't. Because although the Barbarian got the title shot, Butch Reed is just as valuable to our family. He's our ace in the hole. And if Ron Simmons is able to hold on to the belt, that title's as good as ours. But what if he can't? Ravishing Rick Rude, in my twisted and violent book, you've always been the #1 contender. But that spotlight's hot, isn't it, Rick? Isn't it? And throughout the past year, every time it got a little too hot, who did you call upon to cool things down? Cactus Jack! When Sting was chasing you, who was there? Cactus Jack! When the dragon was breathing fire, who was there? Cactus Jack! But Cactus Jack's not doing favors for you anymore. No, no, no! From now on, it's all us. The Barbarian, Butch Reed, Cactus Jack, and a very, very sick man to be named later are gonna walk off with the richest prize in this sport. Bang, 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 bang.
Fans, that's going to come up on October 25th exclusively on pay-per-view, and we'll be back.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, Doc, to the left. It almost looks like a door
an
lock.
Door or
I don't. Yeah, I can't tell you what that is. I don't know.
Okay.
See, now I'm fascinated with it.
I know. I watched this twice because I was like, what am I looking at?
Well, I mean, come on, bro. What are we doing? We talking about the set here or the wrestling?
Yes, because I am fascinated. I am fascinated what went through these people's heads in putting on a wrestling show half the time.
Talk about Mick. Talk about Barb.
Well, I think that was I thought that was a really good promo, and I think it was really interesting for them to go after Rick Rude. Because you don't hear a lot of that even back then.
No. I used to love hearing stuff like that because it was like, oh, wait, what's this?
Correct.
I like the promo. I don't like how it feels like they've pivoted. Okay. Well, not pivoted, but like they it's like, you know, all of a sudden Ron Simmons, and I know what it is. They were trying to buy time until they got to Starrcade because there's a match that's supposed to happen at Starrcade. And they were trying to buy time, and I guess they figured, okay, this is our next pay-per-view. We got to have Ron Simmons do something here. So we're going to manufacture this feud with Barbarian. And it's not terrible. I don't want to give that impression, but it's like,
I don't see Barbarian as a credible opponent, even though he's on a push and a badass.
Exactly. So,
right.
But I mean, he's great. I mean, it's just not the right time,
right,
for that.
It's a little off.
What were you about to say, Doc?
No, it's a little off.
Were you about to say something about this next promo we're going to listen to, or?
Yes, I wanted to point something out before we listen to it.
Oh yeah, go ahead, point it out, and then I'll.
We're getting ready to do the Steamboat. Ricky, right?
Yeah, Richard.
Oh.
Yeah, Richard.
Are you talking about Richard here or what?
Yeah, Richard who?
No.
Fuck, y'all go to high school with these guys or something, first name basis?
Sorry. I thought this was a really good promo until it just ended out of nowhere. And we don't always like Steamboat's promos, but this was weird because it was like he was after it. I was like, all right, he's feeling it here. And then he just quit talking.
I don't think Steamboat's promos are the greatest, and I think you kind of see that here at the end.
Okay, because I didn't think this was bad until he just stopped.
Well, Teddy Long was my favorite part of this, and you'll see why. Let me hit play, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Saturday night here with the World Television Champion Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and one of the co-hosts of the all-new Power Hour you see every Saturday morning here on TBS, Teddy Long. Teddy, you've had a big day, and it's a lot of big things are coming up for you.
Well, you're exactly right, but the first thing I want to do is thank all the homies for watching the all-new Power Hour. Had a great show this morning. Had a great day out at McIndry Elementary School in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and all the homies out there talking about October 25th, Halloween Havoc. And Jim, I know you're going to be talking to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion, World TV Champion, I might add, and brother, certainly the war's not over between him and Stunning Steve Austin.
No doubt about it. Got a promotion there, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the television champion, and we heard Stunning Steve Austin's comments last week directed right at you, sir.
Well, you know something, Jim, some of the comments that he was making, like about my family, trying to get under my skin, is not going to work, Stunning Steve. It didn't work in the past with the Dangerous Alliance, and it's not going to work now. And you made a comment that you were the longest reigning world television champion ever. Well, that's fine and dandy that you know how to get this belt back. Well, let me tell you something stunning, Steve Austin. I've got more mat time rolled up in this pinky than you got in your career. I know how to hold on to this belt.
All right, well, some very strong comments. Enough said right there. I think you made your point. Ladies and gentlemen, our main event is next. Let's go back up to Rhubarb Jones.
I mean, he made his point. It just kind of sounds like it ends abruptly.
Yeah. It's almost like they wrapped him up.
Which is possible. I mean, there's not a ton of time in this episode.
He's good though when he said, "I got more mat time than you've that was good."
I think I figured out what your doorknob was.
Oh, okay, what was it?
It's just a fucking set design. Because if you look at it, it's you can see it's a design, and that red square is I think is a part of it too. No, with the Steamboat promo, like something you'll see. Like it's like something you would see, like if you went into like the Apple store or something on the wall. See?
Yeah.
You can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's two different pieces. God, who the fuck would think that up? That's what we're missing out on, bruh.
Well, here's the thing.
Gotta look like a John Jay hair salon.
This set's gonna help us catch Vince.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We're talking about it.
Yeah,
for the wrong reasons. Okay. All right, let's continue. We go to the main event. Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson versus Michael Hayes. I'm sorry, Bobby Eaton, Arn Anderson with Michael Hayes versus the Steiner brothers. So we got about 16 minutes left when they kick this thing off. Doc, I got a timestamp a couple minutes in, but let me go to you and you share your thoughts about this match between these two teams.
I noticed something in this match. 4 gentlemen wrestlers of high standards and skills. 1 visible tattoo.
Interesting. Is there a reason you're saying that though?
No, I thought it was weird. It was like I just noticed it.
Okay.
My first timestamp was 28:34 when the cameraman completely misses the move in the ring.
Well, I had 28:25. The Steiner line to Bobby over the top rope.
Yeah, so that leads into the next move. So just play that.
Yeah, so here it comes.
That looked good.
Yeah, it did. And then watch Rick Steiner just
now watch
lariat Bobby over the top.
So we missed the shot to Arn after that.
Yeah, we didn't need to cut to Bobby because we saw him hit and they missed the lariat to Arn, which the crowd reacts to big time.
Correct.
Nothing like a Steiner line from the Steiners, man.
Hey, man, these are 4 gentlemen wrestlers that know how to get after it.
Boy, you ain't lying about that. Okay. What else, Doc? Any other timestamps?
No, but, man, I felt like the Steiners ate up Arn and Bobby.
They did. This is what Arn talks about during this era. If you pay attention, last few weeks, maybe even months, can you say anything good about how they've booked Arn and Bobby?
No.
Exactly.
No.
And Arn, on his podcast, talking about this era in like August and September, he'll tell you that too. Like he basically does everything. I mean, he did call Bill Watts a tyrant. I mean, let me be clear on his podcast, which I guess is, not really good when you call your former boss a tyrant from 30 years ago. But my point being, he definitely was not happy about the way he was treated during this era of Bill Watts. He just not a big fan. We'll leave it at that. He didn't curse him out. He didn't tell him to go, F himself and kick rocks and go do the Burger King thing or nothing like that. But he definitely did not like Watts, and it comes through when he talks about this time period. The Steiners, I'm sorry, Arn and Bobby, they just, I hate it because it's like you got this great tag team, comprised of two great wrestlers, and we're not doing nothing with them. It's very odd. The worst part about it is Bobby Eaton made him money in Mid-South. And he's not like well past his prime. And Arn Anderson is Arn Anderson. Right. And Arn Anderson is Arn Anderson. We can't figure out something better. Look, I'm not opposed to the Steiners beating them, but it's just overall you ain't getting much from Arn and Bobby, especially Arn during this time period.
I have a question for both of you guys as gentlemen wrestlers.
Harper first. Go ahead.
What?
No, I'm saying, ask Harper first.
Okay, if we're pushing, as we just did in this episode, that Magnum TA has especially taught Shane Douglas the belly-to-belly somehow, should Scott Steiner be using it as a move? If one guy's using it for a finisher and a bigger guy uses it.
Dude, Scott Steiner is like, man, go fuck yourself.
Right. I didn't say. I said, should he?
I could see maybe if he was a nice enough guy, he would maybe stop doing it. But he don't give a shit about Shane Douglas. Probably not.
I agree. So I understand. I understand where we're headed. I was just trying to. Should he do it, Mike?
No.
Mike?
Technically, he shouldn't if they're building up Douglas
to
use it as a finisher. But in fairness,
he was doing that prior.
Right. He's been doing that for several years now.
That's why I asked.
It would be unfair to him, to be frank, if he was told stop using it. But I'm with Harper.
Kind of my point.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I agree with Harper too. I was just curious as to we just spent promo time talking about one of our legends teaching one of our baby faces this move, and then here you see it as a transition spot.
The funniest part of it is, no disrespect to Shane Douglas or Magnum, Scott Steiner's belly to belly is more powerful than Douglas's could ever be, because he's just a big old bastard who can fling you around.
That's another reason why I ask if they should be doing that.
But I'm with Harper. Harper, what did you say Scott Steiner told Bill Watts if he told him something?
He probably wouldn't. He'd probably be like, Shane who? Yeah, I mean, he's been there for fucking what? 3-4 years now.
3, yeah.
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 You think he's? I mean, no disrespect to Shane Douglas, but he's probably like, what?
Right.
No.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to look. Let me say, I don't know if this happened, but if somebody went to Scott Steiner during this era and said, hey, man, you got to stop using the belly to belly because we got Douglas in and we're going to put this, Magnum's going to help him get over and put over the belly to belly. So you got to stop doing it. Scott Steiner's got to be like, I've been doing this move for 2.5 years as a transition spot. What are you talking about?
Like I said, that's why we're asking some guys who have been in the business to give that perspective to our fans, which is, in theory, in a vacuum, all things considered equal, he probably shouldn't. In reality, in the locker room, it ain't going to stop.
No.
Yeah, I can't. But, I mean, you bring up a good point. It's like one dude's using it as a finisher and the other one's doing it, it's just a middle of the match move. It's like a hip toss.
Yeah. It's a Steiner hip toss.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
So, Doc, anything else for our work towards the finish of this thing?
No, I'd say work to the finish here.
All right. So Scott Steiner is in there. He's taking the heat. Scott and Arn collide. You saw it right there in the video version, tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. It looked great the way they collided. Arn bumps face first. Scott takes a hell of a back bump. Scott does make the hot tag to Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner, he comes in wheeling and dealing. We get a belly-to-belly overhead from Rick. So not a belly-to-belly, but an overhead belly-to-belly, which, if you ask me, that's even better than the belly-to-belly. But, we could save that for another day. Rick does that to Bobby with that overhead belly-to-belly. Rick then goes to the top rope bulldog on Arn, and Bobby pulls him off of Arn as he went for the pin. Scott then double arm underhook power bombs Arn. Rick hits Bobby with the Steiner line, but the bell rings because TV time has expired. So it was
Did you write all that down?
Took notes, bullet points.
I have to say, look at you.
I do this every week. Is that the first time you've noticed me calling a finish? Anyway,
I don't know if you know this, Harper, but all three of us are really good at our individual jobs on this show. Toot toot.
You ain't lying.
Toot toot.
So again, the bell rings. TV time has expired. It was a good match. You didn't really get much of a finish, but that closing, as time expired, what they did there was really good to me. And again, watch it. Look at Rick Steiner. I want you to watch this. He goes and catches Bobby, and he does an overhead belly to belly, and that looks greater than any belly to belly you're ever going to see because it's overhead. But what are we going to do? And then Arn's, I got to say this, Arn's like a pinball selling his ass off during this whole thing. Because watch Arn. Good, man. Look at Arn right here. He takes a boot to the face, stumbles back to Rick. Look at his bump, and he flops back on his back. It's fantastic. And yet, Bill Watts don't have nothing for him. What are we doing here? Oh, I know. Arn was making too much money for old Billy Boy.
Uh-oh. Was he?
If you listen to Arn, he thinks so.
That's bullshit.
Like I said, believe what you want to believe. I'm not saying this is definitive proof. But
if he thinks he was making too much money, whatever, bro.
Look, I already said
the roster and the salaries, and I can show you where we can save some money to pay Arn.
Here's the thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, Arn's only giving his version when he talks about roster cuts and cuts to different things like catering and stuff like that Bill Watts did. Arn's version is Watts did all that because he told the TV execs, you don't have to pay me a salary, just pay me what I save you. Once again, I said, if that's how you do it, then you're incentivizing him in the wrong way. Because of course I'm going to make cuts if it means more money in my pocket.
Right.
Again, that's Arn's version. I'm not saying it's 100% true, but we've seen cuts that, I think there's some truth in what Arn says. And then you see Arn just being treated like crap on TV when he's there. It just doesn't jive. It doesn't make sense. Him and Bobby, look, this wasn't a squash match, but Bobby and Arn were taking some hellified bumps in this thing.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But that's how the show ends. Doc, any other closing thoughts on this match before we rate it? Toot Toot Award.
Let's rate it and Toot Toot it.
All right, so we got to rate it, hand out the Toot Toot Award. Before we do so, quick reminder, if you want to see the video versions of this, if you want to listen to the ECW shows, the World Class shows, the NWA Power shows, all of the Clash of the Champions, the WCW pay-per-views, Tales from the Territories episodes that we've done, Dark Side of the Ring episodes that we've done, all of that is available on Patreon, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Over 400 plus Patreon exclusive shows are available there. Doc, I'm going to go to you first. Why don't you rate it and tell us what you gave this one?
So it was 41 minutes. We got a lot of things in. There were a few things that weren't top shelf. But overall, I thought this was a good show. I'm going to, between two different here, and it's going to make me sound bad or good. I'm going to say B+.
I'll give it an A-. Like, it wasn't.
That was where I was between, was an A- or a B+.
Harper, what you giving it?
I'll give this an A, man. because we got to see. I mean, just the main event right there.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to switch to an A-. You make a good point.
There you go.
All right.
Wait, man. Hey, we're not always just sitting around stuck on our opinion. When we get new information, we can change our opinions. We're grown men.
That's right.
Toot Toot Award time, Doc. Who you giving your Toot Toot to?
My Toot Toot to?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good promo. I'm gonna give it to Cactus. And if you noticed during the Halloween Havoc Control Center, he wasn't wearing his normal like poncho shirt. He was wearing like a vest and no shirt, which was a weird look for him. So I'm giving him the Toot Toot.
Okay, you're gonna think I'm nuts.
I already do. You're giving it to Harper's Converse.
No, God. I'm giving mine. There's Cactus with the vest on, cutting his promo. That is an interesting look from him. I'm gonna give my Toot Toot Award to Arn Anderson, because when you watch that finishing sequence of that match we just saw, Arn is scoring without the ball. He's flopping around, bumping his ass off. And again, when you listen to him talk about this era, he's not happy. But yet, he goes out there and he is a professional. He goes out there and he does his job. He bumps, he sells. Like, as a professional, you watch him and you're like, this dude might have been miserable. He might not have been happy. But his performance in the ring, there's a lot of people you can't say that about when they're unhappy. They mail it in. No boo-boo
face.
Right. Arn doesn't have the boo-boo face. The only reason you know he was unhappy is because you're hearing it 32 years later on his freaking podcast. Other than that, you can't tell. He's just a consummate professional. So I'm giving mine to Arn.
That makes sense.
Harper, who you giving yours to?
I'm giving mine to Arn. I mean, how can you? I mean, how can you not? Just
because I gave mine to Cactus.
How he bumps and feeds, and he's always in the right position.
He's like a master of it.
Yeah.
Like, you watch him, he does this closing sequence.
He is at every second in the ring, and he knows where everyone else is.
Ring general.
Yeah, for real.
He doesn't miss. Like, there's never a moment where you're like, uh-oh, he was a little out of place. No. He has his ring awareness at every moment is so damn good, you might not notice it because it's so damn good. He is never a centimeter out of place. He just knows every moment. All right, I got to be right here. Oh, okay, I took that bump, stumble back. Oh, yep, got to be right here. But it's so seamless that you just don't see it because he knows what he's doing. And I'm pissed off at Bill Watts with how he treated him.
Yeah, that sucks, bro. Yeah, he's getting paid too much. Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to wrap this up for this particular week. This was fun. I didn't know how this one was going to go, but then we got to hear about Harper's Converse and ponies at the beginning of the show, which is great. So if you're listening to the video version of this, make sure you listen to the intro before the video started. It was some exceptional work from Harper talking about his cons and ponies, man.
And now I'm hooked. I want to see what happens next week and if he bought some new ones.
Oh, bro, it's going to happen this weekend.
Okay.
I fucking talked myself into fucking doing dumb shit.
You deserve it, Harper.
You deserve it.
That's right. I deserve it, bro.
Just
Caden,
like the
Caden is your prince. You're the king.
He's a king.
I deserve it, bro.
Oh man! All right. Well, Doc.
At being me, and that's good enough. Okay?
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Is be you. Because at the end of the day, that's all you can be, and that's enough.
Doc, any other thoughts before we throw to Harper and hit the tagline and roll?
Hey, I'm gonna say this on the air so that you can help us out. next week's show is not loading on the Google Drive for me.
What's it doing?
It just says video still processing, and it never resolves.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Yeah.
See?
Okay. All right. Remind me in a day or two, but I may delete it and then just try to re-drop it in there. It's weird that it's doing it for just that one. So
yep,
that is very strange. So
well, on that note, you get to hear the inside story of our production notes. If we don't have anything else, I guess Harper could hit the tagline.
Hit the tagline, Harper. Let's roll.
Jeez.
Is he on mute? What's going on now?
Holy
Seriously?
shit, he's off to buy. He left to go buy tennis shoes.
Okay, Doc, you hit the tagline.
Book it, bitch.